The future of golf isn't just about players. It's about change. It's about breaking barriers, shattering stereotypes, and changing the world.
The founders of Eastside Golf, it's the only brand to ever collaborate with Michael Jordan's Jordan Golf brand, and with a celebrity following from Chris Paul, DJ Khaled, and Dwayne Wade. These young men are making their mark in the $79 billion sneaker industry in their own unique way.
How can we get other people from outside of golf into golf?
I mean, we don't force golf on anyone. We don't force Eastside golf on anyone. But if you're here and you want to learn, then we're going to go above and beyond and give you every tool, every resource possible.
When it comes to golf, I mean, it's about representation.
Somebody who has shifted the culture, right, with purpose, and is breaking barriers. This CEO and co-founder of Eastside Golf, the brand that made golf look like us. And instead of just breaking barriers, also breaking my budget, because I own a lot of Eastside Golf clothing. But it's quality, it's amazing, and it's way bigger than the merchandise. It truly is a movement. So with no further ado, let's bring Earl Cooper to the stage.
Yes, sir.
How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm excited, man. The energy is electric.
Yes.
It feels
And
amazing.
I want y'all to give him another round of applause in a second. I'm gonna tell you why. This man has a 4-month.
Yeah.
4 months
Yeah.
ago. So anybody who has kids, you know he ain't getting no sleep right now. Right? And your granddad, right? 80th birthday tomorrow?
Yep. My uncle. My uncle's turning 80 tomorrow. So.
Turning 80 tomorrow. Y'all give it up for Earl for coming in and pointing to us.
Thank you.
With all the circumstances. We love to see it, man. We love to see it.
For sure. So just want to read off some more about Eastside Golf. So you started with PGA of America, became the first black golf pro at Detroit and Wimbledon country clubs, co-founder HBCU Week, and then built a movement with Eastside Golf, partnering with Nike, Jordan, and the PGA, bro.
Yeah.
He's a big deal, just in case y'all ain't know.
Yeah.
So the first question I have for you is, when did you know you wanted to pursue golf, right? I just feel like it didn't look like us before, and you all created an amazing movement, but when did you first get introduced to golf, and how did that happen?
That's a great question. Again, this is an honor to be on this stage. So it goes back when I was 6 years old. My father signed me up for an inner city youth golf program. So I was born in Flint, Michigan, raised in Wilmington, Delaware. And at 6, my dad just signed me and my sister up for a program. And I think, again, now that I have children, you just want to expose your kids to a multitude of things. I don't think there was this thought of oh, you're going to be pro at 6. It was just, let's expose them, see what they like. I absolutely hated it. Didn't like it at all. I mean, I was going, I'm like, where are all my friends,
On a basketball court.
Yeah, basketball court, football court, playing video games. And it taught me a good lesson, too, where it was just the process of socialization, right? And we'll get into, my teaching philosophy is ranked as one of the best young teachers in America. But I could always relate to younger kids because my upbringing and the fact that when I would say under 12, you just really want to hang out. It's not about how many points you're scoring, right? If you have young children, it's hard to get them to focus, right? Because they just want to hang out with their friends. So it was the same thing for me at 6 years old. And it wasn't until I was 13 years old, my parents kept me involved, and I won the Golf Channel Drive Chip and Putt, which was a skills competition. Won locals, went to regionals, won regionals, and went to Florida. So at 13, I had earned myself a free trip to Disney World. I was on TV, and I was like, if every golf tournament's like this, I'm ready to practice. So that's really, for me, when the light bulb went off, and I highlight that moment because it also gave me the opportunity, a point of reference, right? You don't have this ability to know. I had no idea what golf could unlock. And so for me, that's when I saw oh, wow, golf is an opportunity. It can get me these other things that I'm seeing my other friends do, whether they play in these other sports. And so for me, that's when the light bulb went off, and I haven't looked back since.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Speaking of the opportunities that golf can get you, I mean, we hear it all the time, a lot of the top deals are done on the golf course and things of that nature. What Do you feel like there's a lot of truth to that? And can you share some of your experience on just like how being on the golf course has really just transcended your ability to build some of the connections that you have in your business?
Yeah, no, it's definitely truth to that, right? I think, the classic line is if you came to me and you said, hey, Earl, I want to spend 4 hours with you, I'm like, I don't have 4 hours, right? Because we just don't have, the time, right? But at the same time, if you say, hey, Earl, we're going to play golf, I'm like, all right, let's do it, right? So it's that same, equivalent of time, but it's just the mindset. And so for me, I caddy when I was younger. And when you caddy, you're basically carrying the golf clubs. And for me, when I used to caddy, I used to just hear these conversations, right? I'm just observing the conversation, and they would talk about all kind of stuff, and it would be, in the summer, but it didn't matter the day. Like, it wasn't just on the weekends, right? And so you're seeing these people that are attorneys, lawyers, doctors, they're playing during the weekdays, and the conversations that they're having. And so for me, I used to just aspire to be a part of those conversations. And so I knew that, all right, I needed to be well-balanced individuals. So I used to kind of just read the newspaper, and I used to hear a lot of finance guys. They would just quote the Wall Street Journal. It was like, what was happening in the Wall Street Journal? And so for me, I really said, okay, if I want to be a part of these conversations and add value, I need to have a global perspective and be able to add a little bit here, add a little bit there. As time would go on, I met so many people through the game of golf because it's a community, it's a convener. And there isn't one type of individual that plays golf. I know we've kind of been told that, right? And I will get into this when we dive a little bit deeper into Eastside golf, but a lot of what we're doing is shifting mindsets. And so historically, specifically for minorities, we have looked at the game of golf as the white man's game, right? And so what that does is when you have rules, you consider it the white man's rules. So then we're like, nah, well, I'm not adhering to that. I'm not, I want to resist that. And so the point that I'm trying to make is the fact that it's no one's game. It's everyone's game, right? And so we all have the right to participate in this game. And the rules of the game aren't targeted to anyone's color skin.
Love that.
So the fact that if a course requires X, Y, and Z, there's no different than going into a church that requires a certain attire, or coming in here and you say, hey, I want you to wear professional attire, right? So it's, again, I feel like a lot of times people are resistant because we've only seen one side of it. And so for me, to answer your question specifically, I've had the ability to meet so many people. So in working, you mentioned I worked at 2 golf courses, over 100 years old. I was the first African-American professional. But my first job outside of golf, I worked in the mayor's office, and I met the candidate mayor through the golf course. So he would come in periodically and was just like, man, you got something special about you. I see how you're connecting with people. If I win, I would love for you to be in my administration. And that was important to me because I always felt that I could offer more than just being a golf professional, but I needed someone to give me that opportunity. And everyone just kind of saw me as that, right? I'd also written some children's books, but it was like, I'm more than this. I'm excelling at this, but I want to do more. And he was the one individual that gave me an opportunity and brought me into his administration. Within that administration, we were able to co-found a program called HBCU Week, which is still growing and is giving over hundreds of millions of dollars in scholarships and things of that nature for HBCUs.
Clap for that real quick.
Yeah.
Very, very proud of that. But it continues to unlock. And I think now we're at the point where I'm seeing so many kind of household names and celebrities pick up the game. I like to say it's everyone's second favorite sport, from Jason Kidd, right, who's the coach of the Dallas Mavericks. I was with him 4th of July, and all he wanted to do is talk about golf, right? And to the players that are playing right now, it's just
like Kevin Hart.
Yeah, Steph Curry playing more than he playing basketball.
Right. Yeah, LeBron James.
LeBron, everybody, yeah.
Everyone that's exactly. They're all picking up the sport. And so it's one of those things where, yes, if you're in the room and you're debating on whether I should or should not pick up golf, certainly pick up golf. And I think the opportunities that is going to unlock is just that network and the people that go play golf and the time that you get to spend with them and fostering those relationships. And I think it's a great sport just for you casually as you build a family, because it's something that you can do together. It's outside, and you can play multi-generational. It's not really about your strength or how fast you are. That has nothing to do with your performance when it comes to golf. So it's a great game. And I feel like that's what's also, when you see the popularity of it, it's not because of one athlete, right? Like Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka, people are picking up tennis because of them specifically. But golf, the game has exploded, and it's not because of the top players. It's because of the game itself. So I would challenge each and every one of you to certainly go out there and pick up a golf club.
Dope.
I love that. So as two African Americans that broke into an industry of finance, right? We worked at companies where we were one of the only African Americans in the room. And at least for me, that created a lot of, imposter syndrome for me. Like, did I belong, uncomfortability, and things like that. So my question to you is, how did you adapt to the uncomfortability of being one of the only African Americans on the golf course? And how are you now painting that narrative for other kids to see, it's okay to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And there might not be other people that look like you there.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? How do you paint that narrative?
No, that's a great question. So I think a lot of it had to do with my upbringing. One, I grew up in, a strong black family. My parents have been married almost 40 years. And so I was very confident in myself, number one, when I walked into a room. I would also say that when the opportunity came, there was a little bit of resistance. Man, I'm about to be the first. Am I unsure? But I had a mentor of mine kind of say, if not you, then who? Right? And then it was also the other mindset of here's an opportunity to reset the standard. Because I also knew that they had just never had the opportunity to engage with someone like me. Yeah. Right? So whatever their narrative or stereotype may be, I knew for a fact that I could beat that. And so that, for me, was what excited me the most, right? I went into work every day knowing, you may have an idea of what an African-American in this space may be, and I'm going to lift that. I'm going to make sure when you walk away, you're like, damn, that was not what I expected. Yeah. And so when the opportunity came to take on those roles, I grabbed them head on. And certainly there is a sense of, imposter syndrome, or you feel like you're being someone else. I kind of almost, it's like acting.
Almost code switching?
Yeah, right? And so you do it and you're seeing this idea of man, I'm excelling at it, right? This is working, and you kind of feel like you're losing a little bit of yourself. And it was difficult for me, but I knew, I was very mindful in working in those spaces that they had a plan for me, so I needed a plan for myself. And so I never accepted the role. I would accept the role. My last job at Wilmington Country Club, I was a little hesitant in taking it, but I understood the legacy opportunity. But I went in saying, I'm giving myself 2 years. And I stayed committed to that and didn't know what I was going to do. I was named one of the best young teachers in America in 2016. I'll say August, and in September I told them I was leaving. Yeah. Wow. And everyone's like, what do you mean? You're at the top. And for me, I had a moment where my best friend had come to me, who I've known since 5th grade, and he says, yo, if you're really one of the best, I want to learn to play golf now. I'm like, all right, great. Let's do it. Finally, my dog, he wants to get out here and swing the golf clubs. I'm like, you know what? It'll be great. Come meet me at the country club X time. And then I'm like, hold on. I'm not a member, and neither is he. And I'm like, shit, you can't come. Yeah. Right? It just really, it hit me. And I'm like, all right, well, we're going to have to go somewhere else. And I just didn't like that. I was just like, there's got to be a better way for this. And I'm sure it's almost like you can work in big finance and you're like, oh shit, you're not a client of the bank, so I can't, create these opportunities for you. So I kind of was faced with that moment. But at that moment, I knew I had to figure it out. And I think a lot of it was being in rooms like this has been something that I'm a big fan of, because I feel like this is how we grow the game, right? Too often, golf is being promoted on the golf course. Yeah. But that's not how you reach a new audience, and that's kind of one of the fundamental principles of Eastside Golf is the fact that we want to meet the people where they are. and kind of shift the mindset. So it's bigger than a sport.
Yeah.
You know, we're not here to create the next Tiger Woods. That's never been our mission. But at the same time, if we can create this onboard ramp where you can feel comfortable, where you can feel like you can be yourself in a sport that for so long we have had to sit on the sidelines. And trust me, it is power in the sport. It's intentional, right? The folks that are out there, it's a lot of opportunity that's out there.
Amazing. Speaking of the mission of Eastside Golf, let's talk a little bit about that mission and how that is kind of intertwined in the fabric of just everything you do, pun intended, because it makes really great merch. But let's talk a little bit about that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, so a lot of it is built on our experience. You know, my business partner, Olajuwon Ajanaku, we met in college. So I went to Morehouse College on a golf scholarship, and there is where him and I met.
They have golf scholarships for college?
Yeah. No, that's a thing. That's a big thing. And so especially at HBCUs, it's becoming harder and harder. But they do have scholarships out there. I would also say for women, there's a lot of golf scholarships for women that go unused too, you know, because of Title IX and things of that nature. But Olajuwon and I met at Morehouse College on the golf team. We won a national championship our junior year of 2010. He then went on to become a touring professional. So he wanted to go out there and play on the big stage against Tiger Woods. Did that for a couple years. It was difficult in raising capital. It's just a hard living, was unsuccessful, had to get a corporate job. For me, I jumped into the PGA of America, became one of the best teachers in America, and then at 30, he gets home and he says, hey, is this going to be like my life? Like, I want to play golf, and created the logo. And you can kind of see it, you know, there on the side. So it's a black man swinging, gold chain going one way, club going the other way. He's got on blue jeans, and it was just supposed to be him. And it's him being him, all true, authentic self, right? And so you didn't really get that level of authenticity in the sport. And so that was the tagline. And I saw the logo, and I'm like, man, that's cool. You should put it on a T-shirt. And that was kind of like just the start. Like that we had no idea we would be before you all today, or this company would be and achieve what we've achieved today. It was literally me just supporting a friend. And so from there, he really ran with it, and it was all about he wanted to fund his golf career. And I'll just kind of fast forward. He has now turned back professional and has the ability 6 years later to fund his golf career.
Wow, I get that round of applause, y'all. That's huge.
Definitely.
Keeping the dream alive, man. Keeping the dream alive.
Exactly. And he stayed mission driven. And it's for us, it's like a lot of times when you start businesses, you don't always accomplish the goal, or it may pivot. And I have to credit him a tremendous amount that he was able to do that. But when it comes to Eastside Golf, we are an apparel brand that is about, you know, promoting diversity in the game and promoting authenticity in the game. And so we also strategically, as I said before, we weren't looking to be validated in golf. So everyone, when they meet us, they're like, oh, well, I don't play golf, so I don't know if I can wear it. And then if you do play golf, you're like, well, who on the PGA Tour wears it? Because that to me is going to make it credible, right? And neither one of those things matter. Right, I was sharing this. One of my favorite lines is, you know, when people say I don't play golf, and I'm saying, well, you don't play polo either, but you wear Ralph Lauren.
Right?
We love Ralph Lauren.
Right. You didn't know polo was a sport. They got
we only know where Polo Field is. You know what I mean? Let alone been up on a horse. You know, but we wear it proudly and we rock it heavy. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with it. I wear Ralph Lauren still to this day, right? But at the end of the day, it's just that mind shift, right? And then that's when we focused in on the quality of the product, right? I have on Eastside today, and I'm not going to play golf, right? And so you can wear our product, and you don't have to play golf, and you're not faking it, right? Are you faking it when you wear polo?
Ain't never been on a horse.
Right, never, exactly. So, you know, those are the things that we're all about, that mind, you know, shifting mindsets when it comes to the sport. Also, we're really big on giving back. I'm very proud of the work that we've done. We've given close to in total with different corporate partnerships, we've raised close to about $600,000 for the Morehouse College golf team.
Give it up for that, y'all.
Yeah,
Huge,
thank you.
huge.
And that was important because that's the place that we met. Right, so we wanted to make sure what did we look like growing this multi-million-dollar brand, and the place that we met, we didn't have the resources that they needed in order to be successful. So for us, it's something that we always think about. We're always taking these kids into the room. We launched Community Day about 2 years ago. We do that in cities all over America, and it's again our Community Day is really unique because we go in and buy out the golf course completely, and we thought every step through how do we eliminate the financial burden. So we bring out food trucks are free, pastry trucks, lessons, and it is incredible atmosphere when you remove the financial burden and people get a chance to experience the game of golf.
Love that.
Right? And there's little anecdotes too, like oftentimes there's so many public golf courses out there, but people don't know about them. An average bucket of balls is only $15-$20. It's not 200,000.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need a full set of clubs if you're just getting started. Sometimes that they have clubs there for you to start, get out there and swinging. Right? So we just kind of eliminate the excuses, but it's also a vibe. We got DJs, we got folks out there line dancing, right? Like it's an incredible atmosphere. And that's the other piece. Like we're bringing culture to the sport.
What's up, YouTube family? Thanks so much for watching the show. I hope you are enjoying this episode, but if you are watching this, there's actually a 70% chance that you're not subscribed to the channel. And that's okay. We appreciate you for watching and listening. However, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscriber button, it'll let YouTube know that other people are interested in this show so that we can further spread the message of money.
And if you're ready to start learning how to build wealth and save on taxes, we highly recommend you join our Multiply Your Money Challenge. This is a 5-day virtual event where both me and George are going to be teaching you the advanced tax and investing strategies of the 1%. And we highly recommend that you grab a VIP ticket because both me and George are going to be answering your personal financial and tax questions. That link can be found in the show notes below. Can't wait to see you there.
Peace.
Like that's simply what we're doing. We're creating a space where people can be their true authentic self and show up on the golf course.
Love that. Love that.
Love that. Personal question. I mean, you just gave us the backstory of, Eastside Golf just being first of all, that logo is hard, man, by the way.
Yeah.
Just being something you can put on the shirt. And then fast forward a few years later, Nike's calling, Jordan's calling. Walk me through that. How did that feel, bro? Like, please give me the whole story because those are some of the biggest brands we see in sports. And for them to hit y'all up and want to represent the brand, bro, that is huge.
Look, it was mind blowing for us. So what happened was started the brand June 1 of 2019. We go to the PGA show in January of 2020. And again, mind you, this is right before COVID. So he's like, man, we got to go down the show. We got to go. And I'm like, oh, I'm not sure. Like, I was a little hesitant, right? I'm not like the country clubs that I was working at. They see this and they're like, no way, hell no. I don't know what y'all think y'all doing, but that ain't going to be it. But I liked it too. Like I remember I wore it to Howard's homecoming that October. And like, I'm like, yo, bro, they going crazy. Everybody keep asking me, what's that logo? And so I knew it, but I wasn't sure how we kind of blend the worlds. Go to the PGA show. And sure enough, I tell all the time, people looked at us like we stole the show. We didn't have a booth. We just was literally a book bag. We both were wearing the sweatshirts. We had them free T-shirts in the book bag and sweaters and just hustling, and meeting people. We met a group in Japan. They didn't even speak English. They literally pointed to it and was like, what's that? We're using kind of translator and gave them cards. We followed up and sure enough, they ordered 25 sweatshirts. They sold out in 24 hours and was like, and they emailed, they're like, we've never seen anything sell this fast. Here's a $10,000 PO. And we were like, wow. Right? In Japan, this is no marketing. This is like, again, right now. That had happened a couple months later. So now we're kind of in COVID. And so as time would go on, Chris Paul reached out to us, or somehow we got connected with Chris Paul and his brother, CJ Paul. And so they're like, yo, we love the gear. We're getting ready to head to the NBA bubble because this is COVID now. So all of the NBA is headed to Disney World. They're about to get inside the bubble, and they're going to figure out how to play basketball during this period. Well, at this time, we understand the unrest in the country that was going on, between George Floyd. But this particular night, there was an incident in Kenosha, Wisconsin. That day, Chris Paul's wearing our gear head to toe, and he's the president of NBA Players Association.
Yeah.
And so we had been talking to their team and knew that he had gotten it, but, we didn't plan it. Chris is wearing the gear. He's representing the entire league, and it's a national news story. So, like, me and O, and we happen to be in Wisconsin, too, which is crazy to me, right? The event happened in Wisconsin. We're in Wisconsin, and our phones just start going crazy. And we look, and it was like CNN, and we're like, oh, shit, like, Chris got it on. Like, that's us. Like, people were like, yo, do you see this? And, like, one of the interesting things about it was, like, I tell people, it wasn't just a sports story. It was a national news story. Everyone's like, breaking news, the NBA is not playing. They've halted all games. And, like, he is the representative of all the players. And he's got on our sweater. So that was the moment. Chris is then signed to Jordan Brand. So that's where the connection initially came from. So Chris introduced us to some folks over at the brand. One of the guys named Gentry Humphrey, who was the VP of footwear at that time, worked at Nike for 30 years, was like, I love it. I'm going to share it to Michael. And, you're like, and specifically, I want to share it to Michael Jordan, right? So I'll be specific.
Let's get clear on who Michael is.
Right. He's like, I'm going to share it to Michael. And you're like, all right, cool. Like, you don't know what that means, right? That's like somebody saying, I'm going to share it to the bank president. Well, what does that mean?
We'll see.
Right, exactly, right. And then he forwarded us an email, I'll never forget it, and he was like, Mike just said, I love it. Okay. Again, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? And so, we've all been there in that entrepreneur journey where, like, you're trying to get the meeting, you don't want to press, but you're following up, but, like, you're trying to play like this, like, it's still Michael Jordan, so I can't, like, when are we going to have it? And I'll never forget, we were, like, hustling in this COVID, and, like, to take a step back quickly, like, sales go through the roof, and we got no product, especially in this room. One of the important things that we did do is we said, all right, we're going to stop, and we're going to get the best lawyer, we're going to get the best, tax, everything that we needed in order to build a business, we stopped and said, we got to level up. Because before that, it was just two of us, and we didn't know. So we went and made sure we owned all of our IP, everything, because people were also coming to us and asking us, are you raising capital? How much is it worth? What do you want to invest? And we didn't know any of that. But we really made sure, okay, within that time frame, we hit the stop button, and we really leveled up. To fast forward now, we're probably at the top of 21, and we finally get the meeting with MJ on the books. So about 6 months later, and you talk about, like, being nervous, you're like, you get the whole prep. They're like, look, when he comes on, get straight to it. Like, this is not, what do you think about game 6? You saw my Jordan 12. Was that a push-off? Yeah, right. My favorite team was, nah. It's like,
right to it.
It's a Zoom meeting. It's a Zoom meeting. Because this is COVID. It's a Zoom meeting, and which I think also is probably like a blessing, because trying to get him in person is still like, Zoom perfect. So we do the Zoom meeting, and you're nervous, but you get right to it. And me and we had rehearsed it. We felt like everything up until that point had led us to that point. Mm-hmm. And so we pitched the same story that I'm telling you guys, and literally he, like, at the end was like, you two have two amazing stories. We tell the best stories. Did we sign them yet? Wow. And we're like, did y'all sign us? And so literally they're like, yeah, it's coming. We're going to get it done.
His team's on the call.
Yeah, his team was on the call. So, like, it was like the chief designer at Nike or Jordan Brand. And, like, it was a handful of folks, but it was like chief level, individuals. And so we pitched it to him. He loved it. And then from there, again, we just stayed on top of it. And that's when our first shoe came out, that my business partner, Elijah, who's our creative director as well, he designed, and it just went viral. Like, our shoe just
Was that the clay?
That was this was the Jordan 4.
Jordan 4.
So we have a Jordan 4 that's on StockX trading for like thousands of dollars at this current moment, because also it's one of those things where supply and demand, right? So they were testing with us, and so it was a small number of units that were ever created.
Yeah.
Within this small number of units, it was unprecedented. Jordan had never made golf shoes for the consumer. It was always something. Michael loved to play golf, but he had never done it with the consumer. And so it's kind of like this perfect storm. We got this amazing story. They've never done it before. So the outside world is like, yo, if MJ believe in y'all, this ain't never happened. We want to be a part of it. And then internally, it's just one of those things where we're like, yo, we got to just take full advantage of this moment. And so from there, that's how we met Michael, and we continued. We did 9 shoes later. So we work with, we got 9 shoes out in the market.
I got 6 of them.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're recently we're on the Nike golf side, so we still work closely with the Jordan brand, but on the collaborating side, we recently just did some footwear with Nike. But when you talk about partnerships, we've been very fortunate. We're also official ambassadors of Mercedes-Benz. And so that's been incredible to work with Mercedes-Benz. And a lot of what we do is we have the ability to really connect with people. Right. And so, yes, we're in these high profile moments and know these high profile people, but it's still like this idea for us. It's like, I've always said, like, loving on the customer.
Yeah.
Right. And I think one of the biggest things that I feel like is missed on young, or not even young, but entrepreneurs, is that we're always so busy trying to get the next one,
Forget
the next one. Right. Instead of saying, well, if you guys are buying it, I want to love on you. How do I thank you? How do I get to know you? Because to me, I feel like you become then the ambassador. You become, my sales rep, instead of me constantly trying to figure out the best ad or this, that, and the third. And so these are just some of the things that we've applied as we built the brand. We work closely with Shopify. They're one of our strategic partners as well. We have a docuseries on Hulu. So if you get a chance, check it out. Just go to Hulu, type in golf. The name of it is called Grails, When Sneakers Changed the Game. And this is an interesting story, too, because a lot of people don't know. We were just supposed to be, like, featured in it. We literally did our first interview, and they were like, yo, we love it. We want to do the whole thing on them.
Wow.
And that's literally why the name is not like the Eastside Golf story.
Got you.
Because they had already sold it into the studios under Grails, right? And so it was all about sneakers. But it's been an unbelievable journey, man.
Wow. Y'all give it up for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Crazy. Being a black man in golf, which is a primarily white-dominated sport, right?
For sure.
And then also having a business partner, because we know that's not easy too. Two black men who come together, shed ego, and for a bigger mission. Just share with us a little bit about what the journey of building the business itself, and how you guys have kind of overcome some of just the challenges of partnership and just all the things that are included in that. Yeah,
no, I agree. I think one, for us, it's helped because our foundation was when we met in college, right? It wasn't like someone I met later in life and I didn't know him, right? Like, we had always supported each other and come up together. The other piece was I believe in him, he believed in me, and the fact that, we both brought value, and we weren't competing for roles ever, right? Like, he was the creative, I was more the business mind, and so we brought that together. But I think for me, there was also some intentional things that we did on our rise, right? You could say now kind of on our come up. And one of the things I remember was when in the early stages, I would make sure that if we were in each other's cities, we would sleep on each other's couches. And the point why that was so important was because even if you can go get the hotel room, the fact of the matter that the conversations that you're going to have and just bumping into them and just like, yo, what about this and what about that? Like, those little things go a long way versus like, all right, I'll see you in the morning, right? Like, I'll see you in the morning. There's a whole lot of things that can happen in between that time frame. And so we were very intentional about that. We also were intentional about like, yo, I'm coming to you as a friend. I'm not coming to you as my business partner. Wow. And being able to communicate that, because the lines will get blurred. And a lot of times you need that friend still. Like, that's still a role that you need in your life. You don't want to find a business partner and lose a friend, right? And vice versa, right? You don't want to, have a friend and lose a business partner. And so we were very, I feel, intentional along the way. And then you also understand that people grow, evolve, and just have those check-ins. It's very important to have those check-ins because, as you're growing, you're in different cities, you're hearing certain things. And my entrepreneurship journey, I'll be honest, like prior to Eastside Golf, the last business that I was a part of, it didn't end well in the sense of the partnership. And I was really committed to myself to say, you know what, it didn't end well because we stopped communicating. And then there was a person, he's telling me one thing, they're telling them another thing. And again, a lot of it is just because you just didn't communicate. And it sounds easy and it sounds simple, but it's kind of like basic relationship things that you just got to stop and just you and that individual have that dialogue, right? It could be something as small as like, yo, when you booked that hotel or you spent too much on dinner or this, that, and the third, but like, don't harbor that. Give them an opportunity to have that dialogue with you and get it off your chest. And one of the things, too, that me and O really did early on was we made a pact. So if we were ever tied on decision-making, right, we would always give that person, we would go that path. Excuse me, I'm saying it the wrong way. But if we were tied on a decision, whoever was most passionate about it would win. So it's like, if it meant that much to you, then you got it.
Yeah.
Because I believe in you and I trust you and I know you want the best for this business.
Yes.
And so you got to kind of pick your battles. But it was like, man, if it means that much to you, whatever it may be like, yo, nah, it could be something as simple as like, nah, we got to get this deal. And you're like, man, but the margins isn't there. Like, nah, we got to get it because, now you're putting that, pressure on them to say, hey, like, okay, if this is what we need to do, or we need to spend it, or we need to make the decision, or we need to show up here, I'm believing in you. I'm trusting in you. And you know what? Let's go. And so that was one of the things that we did. And it really worked in our favor of not, ever, kind of second guessing that. If it meant that much to him, we would go with it. So there.
Yeah.
That's an amazing gem.
Yeah, can we stay here for a little bit?
Please.
Because this is y'all this will be therapy. We gonna do Q&A at the end, but like we just need this moment on stage, right?
Yeah.
Because the same thing with me and George, bro. Like, and I just want to salute George. He knew George around the applause. This event does not happen without George, right? And for me, I'm like, do we need to do events like? In case y'all didn't know, these events are really expensive.
Right.
And I'm like, do we need to do it?
Right.
But it's important to him.
Yes.
So this client experience, you got it.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And same thing with me. So it's just so powerful if you're going into business with somebody, or whether it's your spouse or whether it's whoever it is. Like, number one, y'all shouldn't have the same role in the business, right? You say, Olajuwon's creative. You're more the business. So if it's a creative idea.
What? Like, I've never designed anything. Like, I don't design shoes. I don't pick colors. Like, I give my opinion. I'm always like, well, I don't know if that's going to work, or what if we could do this? What if we could do that? But at the same time, I am very much understanding, like, that's his lane, right? And so we know each other's lane, and it has really helped us grow together. As individuals, I think it's been, huge for us.
Yeah, I mean, y'all know how y'all walk in these events, and y'all be surprised when y'all see the balloons and stuff like that. I'm just as surprised as y'all when y'all walk in these events. I'm like, we did that too? We got that because it's this thing.
Yeah,
and I think it's so important, man. And
I do want to, and I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to say another thing too that has helped us is the fact that I'll never forget early on too, where we were pitching something, and like I was like, we basically were disagreeing in public. I'll just leave it at that, right? On a Zoom. And we got off that, and we were like, damn, that was bad. Like, that was bad. Like, that didn't feel right. We normally crush these meetings.
In front of the team?
In public, right? So we were on the Zooms, I don't know, name X company, right? It could be you guys, right? Mm-hmm. You guys like, yo, we want to do something with y'all, and I'm like, nah, that ain't it, but we should do this. And he's like, nah, that ain't it, but he's like, Uncharted, like, what's going on? Yeah. But the point that I bring that up and why it's so important, because after that meeting, we promised each other we would never do that again. And the point is the fact that I want to make sure everyone walks out this room is that you and your partner or your teammate or whatever, y'all can have another discussion. It doesn't have to be decided or final on that. How many times do brands commit to something and come back with an email and say, oh, I know what I said, but I had to check my boss, blah, blah, blah. So it's not final. But for you to keep that unified front in every meeting that you walk into and bite your lip, it is so worth it. Do not ever, because people are watching. Yeah. So that has helped us tremendously, because it's like, yo, you my dog. Yeah. Me and you, we can go, whatever, figure this out later. 2, 3 in the morning, whatever, we take a trip, go on the golf course, whatever your relief is, cigar, whatever. Me and you can figure this out, but we're not going to get that opportunity to talk to the CMO of X brand again. I can't call them and be like, oh, well, I really meant this, or had a bad day, or this, that, and the third. It's like, nah, you have to. You cannot. And again, I'm not saying that you're not going to disagree. Right. You're human. Right. But at the end of the day, please don't do that when it's, when you're in public. Wait until afterwards. And it's not about you critiquing them. It's just saying, hey, I would have went down this path, or I would have thought, or explain to me kind of your point of view, because I was thinking X, Y, and Z. And then and there's been times where he like, yo, you right. Or I'm like, damn, you right. And then what we do, we send an email. Hey, I know we had mentioned this. We feel like we want to go in this direction, this, that, and the third. They can say, all right, let's jump back on the phone call. But again, these are the little things along the way that has helped keep our relationship so core. Yeah.
And that's a microcosm for any relationship, business, romantic, whatever the case may be. It's just like we literally put our weekly meeting before our team leadership meeting, because we got to go into this call.
It's because we argued on the call before. Yeah. Right. And we got off in front of our whole team. 100%. And we were like, bro, we can't do that. Yeah. We can't do that again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so now that's solid. That's gold. Eastside Golf has already accomplished so much, has had some amazing feats. I know some things, probably are under wraps, but is there anything that you can share that you're really excited about for the year ahead?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot going on this year. We're in the middle of, I'll just say, a business transaction. And so it's going to allow us to really focus and play to our strengths. But what I'm excited about is that we see the opportunity to really go into golf, right? And what I mean by that is that we built our brand kind of going as far away from golf as possible. I equate it like when you want to build the church, right? If you want to build a church, you got to meet the people where they are and bring them inside of the church. But now that we have built this community, it's time to go into the church. And now that church being, quote unquote, for lack of better terms, the golf course. Yeah. We have a lot more partnerships. We're going to show up big in Augusta, which is, the home of the Masters, where they have their event. And it's a big opportunity for us. It's like the Super Bowl of golf. We're going to be at NBA All-Star. It's in LA this year. That's a big moment. We got new shoes coming. So that's something that we keep going. And that's one of the things, too, and like working with Nike, you'll see, and there's always lessons. Nike is one of the most disciplined calendar businesses I've ever been a part of, right? And we were talking about this last night. Like, they're so far in advance. And so in any business, it's so important to just calendar and stay on calendar, whatever that may be. And it's okay to pivot, but that's where you can really plan and be strategic. And I think for us as a brand, we're really excited to build out our ecosystem and understand how do all of these partnerships really go together to create a microcosm of what we want. But we're still very mission driven. There's still a lot of people that don't know the brand. There's still a lot of people that, again, that mindset shift that we're really focusing on. So I'm excited though. I mean, we're seeing a lot of growth. We just got into Nordstrom's. We're in Golf Galaxy, PGA Superstore. We just opened up a store in the airport, which is another interesting point, right? I've never purchased clothes in the airport ever, right? Like that was I didn't
everything I needed.
Right. And so I'm like, I don't know about this. And again, the opportunity came. We took full advantage, and it's been great. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Again, the exposure that you get with just people walking by it and seeing it. So we're in DTW, and so there's certainly a lot on the horizon for the brand. So be on the lookout.
Love that. Speaking of which, I know we didn't dive too much into like the nuances of what it takes to grow and scale an apparel business, but I know there's a lot that goes into supply chain, logistics, margins, et cetera. You guys have done it at a really high level. So can you just, from your perspective, like kind of just share some of that?
Yeah, no, I mean, the apparel business is a very cash-intense business. You need a lot of cash. And simply put, to make a garment, it typically is going to take you 90 to 120 days to make anything, right? That includes the boat time and bringing it. Then there's a period of time where you got to design it, right? And there's this thing called a tech pack. And so a tech pack is basically a document that the factories use to make a polo or make a garment. And so from the stitching to the zippers to everything, all of the details is written down on a document. And that's really what they hold you accountable to. So I go back to my tech pack and say, hey, this is off. My medium is a quarter inch too long, and that should be in the tech pack. And it could take a couple weeks to develop a tech pack. You got 4 months for it to be produced. And then you got to shoot it, you got to market it, you got to sell it, right? So there could be 6 months. And so this is where you start talking about cash flow, working capital, because from the development stage, I'm paying somebody. I got to pay someone to do a tech pack, and then they got to take it to the factory. And depending on your terms, you may have to pay 100% up front. And then they got a product, and then you got to market it, you got to shoot it, you got to seed it.
Yep. So
again, that's what I mean by it's very cash intense. And so as you grow, terms are so important. You cannot operate an apparel business on terms. You will just sink millions and millions of dollars because you haven't had the ability to recoup your returns. The other piece that is kind of unlocked is called an ABL, which is an asset-based line of credit. And so there's certain banks that specialize in it, but that's also helped us a ton, right? So let's say we got $1 million in inventory. We then can lend against that $1 million and get that cash flow. The other opportunity is called factoring. So if Nordstrom's comes to us with a $100,000 order, there's certain banks out there that'll give you a percentage up front, 80%, 60%, depending on the bank. There's obviously interest with all of those things, but these are the things that unlock opportunity for you to be able to keep going because you got bills and people got to get paid over that 120. When they're overseas making the product, and everyone asks, like, why do you make it overseas? It's literally just because of the cost. Right, to make it in the U.S., you don't have a lot of the things that you need, the certain meals and just the technical design and the cost for the technical design. So, it's been a crash course. You really need a good, CFO to understand the data, understand your consumer. But when it comes to apparel, and that's the thing too, you learn like there are banks out here though that want to do this, that this is what they do every day, all day. You just need to know what to look for. But for us, we've been fortunate too because we've relied heavy on Instagram, organic, social. That's good. Community is always great as well, understanding that. And as we get to this next level, I was telling someone the other day too, it's like, when's the last time you walked into, a Nordstrom's and there was empty floor space, right? There isn't. We're taking that from someone else. So now that's who we're competing against, folks at the highest level, the big brands. Yeah. And so it's just still important, even at that level, we stay scrappy. I'm going into these stores. I'm fixing the fixtures. I'm not going to go there and be like, well, why is the Eastside in this corner? Or why is it the hangers hanging off? If I see it, fix it. And Nordstrom's, ironically, they work off commission. So you can go to the reps.
Well, oh, really? And renegotiate?
Yeah, or not even renegotiate, but just say, hey, if you're working the floor, you can basically say, hey, I want to make sure that this gets some special attention. And they want to make sure it works for them too, because they're commissioned. They need they need to sell it. So it's one of those things where, again, you never get too big where you can't do it. Right? It is your business. It is your name on the line. And I know, again, it's a battle because you're like, well, I'm trying to hire for this. That's someone else's role. And it's okay. But at the same time, I always say, if you can fix it and then go back to them and then understand, if I have to continue to fix it, then you're right. They're not doing their job.
Right.
But don't just sit back and be like, well, the Nordstroms in, Prince George's County is, the rack's messed up and this, I'm hearing this and I'm hearing that. No, that's still your business. Still be very hands-on.
That's a fact. So you have a 4-month-old son,
Yeah.
right? And one day he's gonna go back and watch all of this content, these stages and things that you've had the opportunity to present on. If you had to distill down 3 principles that you want him to take away from all of your experience so far, what would be those 3 things?
So one is a statement that I live by, and it's don't settle for a taste of success, make it a lifestyle. And so essentially, it is what it is, right? You can do something once, but the ability to do it over and over. Like I heard Swiss Beats say the other day, he was talking about music. He was like, you can't be considered a GOAT until you reinvented yourself 5 times. Wow. Right? And so the ability to pivot, right, that is going to be something that I would want him to have. I think the other piece is relationships, treating people with respect. It doesn't cost you anything, right? And you just never know. There's so many people that I have met along the way that now 5, 6, 10 years later come back to me. It's the same thing with Olajuwon. Like, it was 10 years after graduating, and he had seen what I've done. He's like, yo, bro, I want you to be a part of this. Like, I need you. And so that's, again, just your reputation is something that I think is so important. And I would say kind of the final one, which is kind of I'm really on this right now, is the fact that too often I hear and see people saying, like, especially young people, when we go in these rooms, they're like, well, I'm going to wait until it's my time, and then that's when I'll give it all.
Yeah.
And I think it's a missed opportunity because my career, I was the assistant golf professional at these clubs. So there was the head professional. Everything we did was mission driven. Then working in the mayor's office, I wasn't the mayor. I worked for the mayor. Yeah. And we understood, like, okay, prepping and all those things that go into it. And even now, like, I'm the co-founder. Olajuwon started this. This is his dream. This is not my dream. I obviously bring value to it. But at the end of the day, like, I just think that the co-founder or the role, the part number 2, or whatever you want to call it, I just think it's a missed opportunity. I think too often everyone's so focused on trying to create their own or be, this, instead of creating value or bringing value to a situation. And one of the things that I'm on is, like, I know so many people where I'm just like bringing my friends together that the worlds would never collide. So you could be a top chef in New York that I know you, but then I know the executive over partnerships at one of the biggest hotel chains. And the worlds won't collide, but I'm going to bring them together.
That's dope.
Right? And I'm doing a lot of that, and it's just off, relationships in my phone.